TRAC is the Trusted Repositories Audit and Certification Standard for auditing the trustworthiness of repositories. Can the TRAC audit checklist be implemented as computer actionable rules? In 2007, the Online Computer Library Center, OCLC, generated the TRAC standard. They provided a list of requirements for assessing trustworthiness. The DICE group analyzed the TRAC requirements to identify the types of information that were needed to enforce trustworthiness. The summarization is available in Lifeline Zone Home RW Moore class INLS 624 TRAC-rule Examples. The spreadsheet lists 141 metadata attributes needed for identifying report types, templates for parsing SIPs and creating AIPs, tasks for identifying and controlling user roles, managing rules, auditing microservices, managing collections, managing files, and managing resources. For instance, a total of 72 collection level attributes were needed to describe audit trails, list locations, preservation action results, and semantics. Information was also encapsulated in templates that define the structure of SIPs, AIPs, and DIPs, the mapping between information packages, and the parsing of submission agreements. Given a template, a rule could then construct the desired information package from the information stored in the metadata catalog. The metadata required to implement TRAC can be thought of as a characterization of a trustworthy repository. The TRAC standard is organized into three categories. Category A, organizational infrastructure, describes requirements for organization structure and staffing, procedural accountability, policy framework, financial sustainability, and contracts, licenses, and liabilities. This information is encapsulated in reports that can be managed in the data grid. Category B, digital object management, describes ingestion, preservation planning, archival storage, and preservation of AIPs, information management, and access management. These tasks are candidates for automation. Category C, technical infrastructure, describes system infrastructure, technologies, and security. Assessment of the technical infrastructure is a candidate for automation. The TRAC standard identifies 201 requirements for trustworthiness. The DICE group analyzed the TRAC requirements to identify the tasks that could be automated to enforce the standard. For each task, a set of rules were defined that executed operations on data and metadata. The spreadsheet TRAC-rule Examples identifies 105 rules. Many requirements could be met by applying rules used for another task. An example of the TRAC standard is shown here. For each requirement, evidence is described for how the requirement can be met, a set of tasks is described, and rules are proposed for automating the tasks. In this case, two examples are provided. One for a repository has a process for testing the effect of critical changes to the system, and a repository has a process to react to the availability of new software security updates based on a risk-benefit analysis. Examples of how rules could be used to enforce TRAC are listed here. The rules can be implemented either as interactive commands issued by the data grid administrator or periodic rules, or as rules enforced at policy enforcement points. In the examples, rules are created to summarize properties of the records or generate a required property. If a complete set of rules can be generated that enforce compliance with the TRAC standard, trustworthiness assertions can be validated. In the rule examples here, there are multiple cases of generating reports for authentic copy from the master, validating the checksum, for generating planning approval reports, for generating reports that quantify the cost for storage, for generating reports on risk, and for generating compliance. Take 7 minutes and complete exercise 99. Pick a TRAC requirement and select a preservation rule that would meet the requirement. See Chapter 5 of the Policy Examples workbook. Please load a paragraph describing your result into the Lifetime Library in the subcollection class INLS 624 by the end of today's class.